At full sprint, a sighthound is 40 miles an hour of teeth and muscle. It is an animal built entirely for explosive, sudden velocity. Yet that same physical intensity sits perfectly still in the quiet corners of modern homes, napping on soft blankets. And if we trace that quiet posture backward, we find almost identical dogs standing elegantly beside 17th century dukes. Go back 4,000 years to an Egyptian relief carving, and the slender silhouette is still there. It is remarkably easy to look at this vast timeline and assume we are seeing one unbroken lineage. But the first rule of history is that we cannot confuse modern affection with historical evidence. The capital G Greyhound we know today is a recent administrative category maintained by kennel clubs and closed stud books. For most of human history, these dogs were categorized by what they did. A sighthound was simply a functional type, an animal selected to hunt visible prey across open ground. When we paste modern breed labels onto ancient artwork, we use the past to flatter our own modern pets. That strips the animal of its actual historical weight and ignores the complex, often ruthless human systems that shaped it. To understand the historical hound, we have to start with the physical body. It is a biological machine calibrated specifically for short, violent bursts of speed. This animation isolates the mechanics of pursuit. A deep chest creates room for the heart, a flexible spine maximizes stride, and a tucked waist allows hind legs to reach forward. But visual pursuit requires open geography, horses, and human labor to run a kennel. In medieval Europe, the land, the horses, and the servants were strictly controlled by the elite. The dog's biological capabilities were useless unless you already possessed the wealth to support them. Because of that ecological reality, simply owning one of these hounds proved your rank. The animal's physical anatomy had been transformed into political anatomy. Landed power is fixed to a nap. You cannot carry an estate with you, but a highly trained, exceptionally fast dog is portable prestige. It is a status symbol that breathes, walks, and performs on command. Rulers recognized the value of this moving property, and they protected it viciously. Medieval forest laws made it explicitly illegal for commoners to own a dog built for visual pursuit. The technology of speed was legally monopolized. There's an elegant absurdity to this arrangement, perfectly captured in this 18th century portrait. The dog does the grueling labor. While the hound endures the violent reality of the chase, the human owner stands safely aside, absorbing the glory. But the elite narrative hides a parallel reality in the woods. This is the realm of the lurcher, a mixed-breed sighthound raised by poachers. These dogs ran under the cover of darkness, relying on illicit intelligence and brutal risk to keep desperate families fed. The true history of the working hound includes the polished silk collars of the nobility, but it also includes the hunger and survival tactics of the underclass. By the time we reach the modern era, the hound is both a practical instrument and a highly constructed symbol. As the historian Richard Montgomery writes, a noble animal is sometimes only an animal upon whom the powerful have laid a velvet adjective. Look at how heraldry cemented this idea. The artist takes the dog's natural stillness, removes the blood and the dirt of the hunt, and abstracts the biology into a pure emblem of aristocratic vigilance. Then the 20th century arrives. The aristocratic monopoly dissolves, and that exact same biological speed is industrialized. Track racing converts the animal's velocity into a mass-market betting product, creating an entirely new economy around the dog's body. Which brings us back to the living room. When a rescued racing dog sleeps on a modern sofa, it carries an invisible weight. The shape of its chest and the length of its legs hold centuries of land disputes, medieval sumptuary laws, and human inequality. We routinely use animals as mirrors for our own ambitions. Speed, being innocent, has often been employed to certify rank, conquest, leisure, and betting. Ultimately, the dog simply ran. It was the human who drew the conclusions.